Alright, welcome to Vinyl for Decor's video tutorial of how to install vinyl. This is how your product's going to come very first thing. It's just like this. You just have a tag attached to it, and then here's going to be your design. Very first thing you want to do is just go ahead and remove your tag. That's got some information on how to install it if you want to get a refresher on that. It's also got our contact information on it, so you'll want to keep that just in case you need to contact us. But the very first thing you want to do on all of our designs, we'll always leave a little bit of material around the edge of the design. This is important. It's not intended to be there. We leave it there for two purposes. The main reason why we leave it there is that if we were to cut it off for you, these corners would start to peel up and the two corners could touch and the design could get damaged. So it's important to cut it off. Now the other reason why we leave it there is that the edge, this gives you a nice straight edge. Now the design, the white area that you see is the design, or the actual design. The white's not part of the design, it's the backing paper that you see. But the edge of the white is the end of the design. And so what you're going to do is you're going to cut right along the edge of that white all the way around. So just take a pair of scissors and just cut it off. This doesn't need to be absolutely perfect because you're not cutting any of the design. Remember, the white is only the backing paper, which is what you're going to throw away. So just cut it as close to that white edge as you possibly can. Now, typically what I do is I cut one edge nice and straight, and then the other three edges, I get them as close as I can. They don't have to be perfect. But just go ahead and cut this all the way off so that it looks a little bit more like that, which is the actual design. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just tape this to the wall just right where I want it to go. The tape's nice because it'll allow me to adjust it if I need to. And then I like to use a tape measure. You just go ahead and measure from corner, make sure my corners are the same. And it's very easy. If I need to, I can just raise or lower one of these corners so that my design is nice and straight. Once I'm happy with where the design is at, I'm going to go ahead and tape it just a little bit better to the wall. Now, you can, if you want, you can go ahead and put a piece of tape in the middle there. That'll be good. I always suggest, though, and it'll make it a little bit easier to install, and I'll show you why here in just a minute. I always suggest to go ahead and tape it on the bottom. Now, it's important to tape it edge to edge. It doesn't have to be one continuous piece of tape, but you do want it to go edge to edge. And then once you have that bottom taped, you can go ahead and remove the top pieces of tape. And what you'll notice is that this will just dangle on the wall. And that's why it's so much easier for you to tape it on the bottom so that it just dangles on the wall. With it on the wall like that, what I can do is I can go ahead and start pulling the backing paper off. Although what I will suggest is that it's a good idea to rub over the front of your design before you pull the backing paper off, so that when I do pull this off, all of these pieces will come off just a little bit easier. Now as you're pulling this off, you don't want to pull this straight out. Always pull this back against itself. Now this is a really good tip. You can kind of see they'll have a letter here that is pulling or wanting to lift off. Now you want it to come off the backing paper and stick to the front paper. So whenever you have this happen, very good tip is just to push down on it. Now the better you rub over the front of it, the easier this part is. But it's not uncommon for a letter to want to lift up like that. So just kind of pull this off, watching to make sure all the pieces come off. And then pushing down where you need to as you peel it off. Now once I have that off, all I need to do is just grab these two outside corners and just pull this tight. The tape is going to keep it right where I wanted it to go. And then just set these corners up on the wall just like that. And then this is important. Always start here in the middle and go up. Start the tape and go up, or start the tape and go down. But always start the tape in the middle and go right up the middle just like that. And then go from the center out and just smooth this out into the wall. Do this initially with your hands. And then take your credit card or anything with a nice flat edge, popsicle stick, spatula, squeegee works good, but I'm going to show you with the credit card, just rubbing over this so that it adheres well to your wall. What I suggest is go over it 3 or 4 times with good pressure, and then at that point I like to remove my tape just so that it doesn't get in my way, but this isn't super crucial. Just go ahead and remove your tape, and then you just need to peel this off here. Now when you're peeling this off here, it's extremely important not to pull this straight out like I'm showing you. You'll notice that that letter is not wanting to stick to the wall at all. Just make sure when you pull this off, always pull this back against itself. This is going to help the letters to release and allow to stick to your wall. It's also a good idea to just tear it into smaller pieces so that you can keep a better eye on what's sticking to the wall and what's not. So always pull this back against itself. A really good tip is as you're peeling this off is to push down on the letters, kind of rolling this off while I peel it off. Your fingers will actually do a really good job at making it stick to the wall better. Every wall, when you install this, is always different. And so it's very important to push down and pull this off as you install it. And just pull it off piece by piece, watching to make sure they all stick to the wall. Once you have that off, what I suggest is just go lightly over it with your hand, just to make sure that all the pieces are stuck, and then you can kind of add a little bit more pressure, just to make sure that it's all the way stuck on the wall. And there you go. Once you have it up, you can go ahead and enjoy your design.